start with that one more topic in that reasoning, that is logical deductions. I think everybody is aware of that importance of this topic, and this one is also one of the mandatory topic for that all the kind of examinations, right? So first of all, we have to know the meaning of the title here. That means exact meaning of the title. Deductions. What do you mean by deductions here? Deductions means, yes, start it. Point number one here. Deductions means drawing a conclusions. All right. Deductions means drawing a conclusions. Deductions means drawing a conclusions means, right. Now just we understand something with the title. We have to draw a conclusion in this topic. So the main outcome of the concept is we have to draw a conclusions. Deductions means drawing a conclusions. All right, we have to draw a conclusion in this topic. That is what we do understand as of now. Now to draw the conclusions we have to depend upon great. To draw the conclusions definitely we have to depend upon something. So from where we have to depend on that drawing a conclusion? To draw a conclusion we have to depend upon that statements. Statements are like, you know, important things for us to draw a conclusions. And let me check once again. Logical deductions means logically we have to draw a conclusion. That is what meaning. Next one, to draw a conclusions. To draw a conclusions. So we have to depend upon statements. Correct. To draw a conclusions we have to depend upon statements. That is very clear. So let me check once again. What do you mean by statement like here? Now we came to understand something. Deductions means drawing a conclusion. Drawing a conclusion means logically we have to draw the conclusion with respect to the title here. To draw a conclusion we have to depend upon statements. Statements only will be available in that questions. By using that statements only we have to draw the conclusion. Next one, start with that statement. What do you mean by definition of a statement here? Is there any idea for that, anyone? Yes, statement means everybody knows. What is the intention of statement here? Statements definition. Let us put a attention on the definition of statement. Statement is nothing but the truth value of a sentence or the false value of a sentence, but not both at a time. So what do you mean by statement? Statement is nothing but the truth value of a sentence or the false value of a sentence. The truth value of a sentence or the false value of a sentence, but not both at a time. So but not both at a time means we don't use that two sentences at a time. That is what meaning here. Either we should talk truth one or false one only. Any one is only possible for us to talk at a time, but not together both the things. That is what meaning here. We have to draw a conclusions. That is what our intention in this topic, or else in this complete concept. Next one, to draw the conclusions, we have to depend upon that statements. Now we came to know what is the definition of a statement. Statement is nothing but the truth value of a sentence or the false value of a sentence, but we cannot use it both at a time. Let us go for that next one. Now we have to know one more important thing here. How many types of statements are available here? Statement means we know clearly the truth value of a sentence or the false value of a sentence, but not both. Now we are supposed to talk about different types of a statements. Total how many type of statements are available in this topic? That is what we would like to know here right now. So we would like to know right now different types of a statement. So many type of statements are available. That is what we are looking about. Types of statements. Type of statements here. We do have total 4 type of statements in this topic. First one is universal affirmative. Universal affirmative. Types of statements means we are looking about different types of statements which are available in this topic. In that, first one is universal affirmative. Affirmative is nothing but it's one kind of positive sentence. Affirmative is nothing but positive. Universal affirmative means we are talking about universal positive. So syntax of these statements structure should be like this. Syntax: if a statement starting with the term like as all or every, whatever it might be, both are same. All, as is, P. So this one is the syntax of a universal statements here. All, as is, P means all subject is predicate. All subject is predicate. That is what only syntax of universal affirmative. Let us take an example here. If I take an example, all boys are toppers. All boys are toppers means this is one kind of statement. This statement is started with the term or else word as all. That is the reason this one is the best example for universal affirmative. Here, what is the subject? What is the subject here, guys? Yes, boys is the subject, alright. And what is the predicate here? Toppers is the predicate. So that is what only here syntax we have written for that universal affirmative. Universal affirmative means universal positive. The syntax of a statement is all as is P. All as is P means all subject is predicate. All subject is predicate means here we have taken example as a statement which is starting with the word as all. All boys are toppers. All boys are toppers means here boys is the subject and toppers is the predicate. So that's how we need to be focus on that statement. Anyhow, we came to know the syntax of universal affirmative, and we are able to identify what is the subject in that statement and what is the predicate also. Now let us go for that next type of statement, that is universal universal negative. That is universal negative. Second type of statement in this topic, universal negative is also one of the statements which is available in this topic. That is universal negative means syntax for this statement is statement which is starting with the word no. That type of statements we do call with the name as universal negative. So already we have seen in that universal positive, that is universal affirmative, is statements which are starting with the word as all or every. That kind of statements we do call with the name as universal affirmative. And moreover, we know the syntax of universal affirmative, that is all subject is predicate, all as is P. When I talk about syntax of universal negative here, no as is P. No as is P means no subject is predicate. No subject is predicate means here subject is separately defined and predicate is also separately defined. Let us start here. If I take an example of universal negative statement, no boy is a girl. No boy is a girl means this is one kind of statement. No boy is a girl means this is one kind of statement. This statement we do call with the name as universal negative here. In this statement, what is the subject? Yes, very good. Boy is the subject. And what is the predicate here? The girl is the predicate. Alright. No boy is a girl means boy is the subject, a girl is the predicate. That is what statements with respect to the universal negative. That's how statement starts for that universal negative. Alright, let us go for that next one. Let us go for that next one. Start it. Next one is particular affirmative. Particular affirmative means we are talking about only something, we are unable to talk about all the things in that nature. Particular affirmative. Particular affirmative means we are talking about particular positive. Particular positive means just look about on that syntax here. Look about on that syntax, that is clear. The syntax of a particular affirmative statement is sum as is P. The syntax of a particular affirmative statement is sum as is P. That means some subject is predicate. Some subject is predicate means, let us take an example for particular affirmative statement, that is some girls are rankers. Some girls are rankers. Whenever statements are starting with the word as some or many, that kind of statements comes under particular statements or particular affirmative statements. Here statement is started with the term as some. Some girls are rankers. Already we know the syntax of a particular affirmative, that is sum as is P. So what is the subject here? The subject is here girls, and what is the predicate here? The predicate is here rankers. Alright. The subject is girls and the predicate is here rankers. So these kind of statements are only particular affirmative. I think you people have understand very clearly. You people have understood very clearly. Means till now we have seen total 3 type of statements. In that first one is universal affirmative, next one is universal negative, and right now this one is particular affirmative. Let us go for that one more statement, which is particular negative. Next one, this one is the last statement, that is particular negative. That is particular negative. Particular negative means this is also one type of statement. Let us start with that syntax. Some pens are not pencils. Some pens are not pencils means these kind of statements, like it is also one of the statement, these kind of statements only we do call with the name as particular negative. In this statement, what is the subject? In this statement, subject is pens, predicate is pencils. So the syntax of a particular negative statements are, this one is the example for that particular negative statement. Syntax should be some S is not P. Some S is not P. This one is the syntax of a particular negative statement. Some S is not P is the syntax of a particular negative statement. This one is the example for that particular negative statement. So as of now we have seen different types of statements, that is universal affirmative to particular negative, and including universal negative and particular affirmative also. For each and every statement syntax we have seen, and now we should go for that next one, that is distribution process, especially for that statement. So what do you mean by distribution process here? Now let us focus on the distribution process. Let us focus on the distribution process here. Distribution process means well defined in that nature. If you talk something that should be very well defined in that nature, that is what only here we do call with the name as a distribution process. Distribution process means well defined, and moreover distribution process we are supposed to talk about between subject and predicate only. Now total how many types of statements we have seen as of now? Total how many type of statements we have seen? Yes, we have seen total 4 type of statements. In that first one is universal affirmative, second one is universal negative, third one is particular affirmative, and fourth one is particular negative. So fourth one is particular negative. So write it here. Statements, subject and predicate should be written where? Subject and predicate means, now you should write it here. Statements, universal affirmative statements, universal negative statements, particular affirmative statements, particular negative statements. What is the distribution process here? Distribution process means that should be defined very well. Now we are looking about the distribution process of all the 4 statements. Distribution process, which is for subject, predicate. Predicate is nothing but it's like, you know, our in general English, object. Predicate, predicative, predicate. Statements, each and every statement contains subject and predicate. Now we are looking about distribution process of each and every statement. When I talk about universal affirmative, in that universal affirmative statement, subject is defined very well, predicate is not defined very well. Let us look about on that example. All boys are toppers. All boys are toppers means we are talking about each and every boy in that boys community. You should pick any one of the boy, definitely that boy is a ranker, no doubt about it. Boy is the subject which is very well defined in that universal affirmative statement. When I talk about rankers, rankers is the word which is only applicable for the boys? No. Rankers is the word which should be applicable for that all the kind of humans in that nature, not only for that males, not only for that boys. Because of that reason, in the case of universal affirmative, predicate is not defined very well. So predicate is not defined very well and subject is defined very well. Alright, next one, universal negative. Universal negative means subject and predicate both are defined very well. Subject and predicate both are defined very well means, let us take an example for universal negative. No boy is a girl. No boy is a girl means definitely in that boys community no boy may not become girl. No boy is a girl means boys is the subject which is defined very well. When I talk about girl, no girl is a boy. Boy is separate and girl is separate. That is the reason here predicate is the girl, even girl is also defined very well. Next to one particular affirmative statement, that is, yes, particular affirmative statement. This one is very clear. Some people, or else you should take one more example. Some girls are great. Some girls are toppers. Some girls are toppers means this is also best example for that particular affirmative statement. In that statement, girls are the subject and toppers is the predicate. Some girls are toppers means we are talking about only few girls out of all the girls community. Am I clear? We are talking about only few girls out of all the girls community means, right, we are unable to talk about each and every girl in that girls community. That is the reason subject is not defined very well in the case of particular affirmative. Some girls are toppers means toppers is the predicate here. Toppers is the predicate here means topper is the word which is applicable only for the girls? No. That should be applicable for that any one of the person in that nature. Any one of the human into the nature, that is not only applicable for the girls. Because of that reason, in the case of particular affirmative, predicate is also not defined very well. When I talk about particular negative, definitely if at all possible for us to talk something in that statement, that should be defined very well. Now I am ready to talk about statement which is for that particular negative. Let us take one example for that particular negative. Some girls are not toppers. Some girls are not toppers means same thing here. We are unable to talk about all the girls in the girls community. Just we are able to talk about some of the girls in the girls community, right? Some girls are great. Some girls are not rankers. Some girls are not rankers means we are unable to talk about each and every girl into the nature. Just we are talking about some of the girls only into the nature. That means here subject is not defined very well. Subject is not defined very well in the case of particular negative. Some girls are not rankers means definitely out of the girls community we are talking about some of the girls. That some of the girls are, no doubt about it, not a rankers. Not a rankers means in the case of particular negative, great, predicate is defined very well. Predicate is defined very well means the distribution process of particular negative is subject is not defined very well, predicate is defined well here. Let us start with that statement number 1, that is from universal affirmative, the distribution process for subject and predicate. In that universal affirmative statement, subject is defined very well, definitely, and predicate is not defined very well. When I talk about universal negative, in that universal negative statements, subject and predicate both are defined very well. When I talk about particular affirmative statements, in that particular affirmative statements, subject is not defined very well and even predicate is also not defined very well. When I talk about particular negative statements, in that particular negative statements, subject is not defined well and predicate is defined well. Subject is not defined well and predicate is defined well. This is what, like distribution process for that, all the statements which are there in this topic, right? Let us move for that next one. Great. Let us move for that next one. So if you want to represent with reference to the syntax format also distribution process, you should write it here. All as is P. All as is P means here what is the subject as? Subject is defined very well and predicate is not defined very well in the case of universal affirmative statement. So just we have seen in that earlier chart also. Next one, no as is P. No as is P means no subject is predicate. Subject is defined very well and even predicate is also defined very well in the case of universal negative statements. Next one, some as is P. Some as is P means we are talking about subject and predicate. This one is the particular affirmative statement. Subject is not defined very well and even predicate is also not defined very well in the case of particular affirmative. Let us go for that next one, particular negative statement. Particular negative statement means some as is not P. Some as is not P means this one is the syntax of a particular negative. Here subject is not defined well, predicate is defined well. This is the distribution process with respect to the statement wise. Okay, let us go for that next one.